know why you hate us. Why do you hate us? Because we're Mexicans?
Yeah.
We're honest people right here.
Yeah, rapists.
Rapists?
Animals.
How many people have I raped?
Drug dealers.
How many drugs have I dealt?
Presidents.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You believe everything you see on the news?
Yeah.
Hearing and seeing statements like the one on this video and on Fox News, social media, and political ads about migrants seems like par for the course for Republicans. This is especially true since Trump made it cool to be sleep or anti-woke. But to believe this is a new phenomenon requires one to completely forget this country's history as it played out by centuries of racist immigration policies. It is also naive to believe that simply because Republicans spew racism in the manner or in this manner that they are alone. Because those of us who suffer daily from institutional racism recognize that racism isn't only for the politicians who spew or scream racial epithets, but it includes those who legislate it as well. Let's get into it. Since the inception of this country, it has been made clear that certain people would be allowed in and others would not even have a chance. It is impossible to talk about America's racist history with immigration without addressing a couple of truths. First, it is imperative that we see that the first wave of mass immigrants into this country damn near wiped out an entire population of native people. And it wasn't by happenstance. Instead, Europeans with their rankest legacy of appropriation, subjugation, and also colonialism came to this country and decided it was going to be theirs. And they needed the natives to know that, either by force or by death. Both of those were true. It is also important that we note, secondly, the forced migration and then enslavement of Africans in this country. While not completely detached from the indigenous Holocaust, it is quite different in that the only purpose that the whites had for the Africans they brought to this country was free labor and all of the other benefits that comes from owning another human.
It was the American Revolution that caused people to question slavery. No one had questioned it before we decided as Americans that we are endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights and that we are all created equal. Then that birthed abolition movements. So you can't teach history that's being used to pursue an ideological agenda.
It should also be noted that this would be the only time America would allow Africans to migrate to this country in a real sense until the 1990s. These truths must be considered when the greatest fear of all opponents of immigration is a fear of losing our country. Then you couple that or these facts with the fact that this country banned all whites from naturalizing in 1790. Then 90 years later, they instituted the Chinese Exclusionary Act, and it becomes clear with just these few facts or examples that the last 200 years, this country carefully crafted policies that would not only control who came in, but it would also determine the demographics of this country right now. And none of those policies should be siloed from Joe Biden's decision to continue Title 42. Title 42 shouldn't be considered anything other than a drastic attack and an extreme hurdle for those seeking asylum from countries where the populations are majority Black and brown. The hypocrisy is astounding. Take, for instance, the fact that this country has opened back up its border for business to tourists that are paying, allowing people from outside of this country to enter for business purpose. But at the same time, we are rejecting asylum seekers with proof of COVID-19 vaccination. This in itself displays the racist intent of both Trump and now with the continuation of Title 42, Biden's administration. Experts have laid out plans that could keep asylum seekers safe in this country while they seek refuge. However, the last president and now this one choose to continue with the trajectory that keeps America as white as possible for as long as possible. It does not fall on blind eyes or deaf ears that this country has such an appetite for the support of a Ukraine war, as they should, as all of us should, but it is definitely silent on the mass deportation of Haitians, Nicaraguans, Cubans, and Venezuelans. Think about that. These are our neighbors, our dark neighbors to the south of us, and we do nothing to assist them. We help Ukraine as we should. We sit silent while Cubans, Venezuelans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans are being deported, sometimes brutally, like we saw in the video with the border agents on horses with whips or ropes using as whips. We must say what's true. But this isn't just a critique of Biden, for he is no different than the rest of the silent wing of the Democratic Party, the moderate wing, those that resemble Republicans more than progressives on issues pertaining to human lives in this and other countries, especially those to the south and east of us. It is their voices that causes pause with progressive or would-be progressive voters, for their actions are as confusing as Republicans, and their loyalty as diluted as the money that fuels their elections. Enjoy yourselves, but not before you think about it. Peace.